dead!
Hello, my name is Bret, and sometimes I wear a beret, and I like rockets. Mortars are kind of like rockets. That's my segue. Let's talk about some mortars. This right here is the Airzone Rocket Storm. I've talked about it a little bit, shown it off a little bit on Wacom's channel for Tag Bag. There's something very special about this blaster to me. I'll call it a blaster. Sure, it shoots stuff. I got this from Toys R Us. Rest in peace, Toys R Us. Back in, I don't even remember. This was when I first got into the hobby, and the Airzone Rocket Storm was just so different. I had to have it. It cost me about $20. It came with 2 rockets, which I still have, and they don't have refill packs for these, so if you lost these, you were done. The Airzone Rocket Storm does not boast crazy ranges, but it does boast a lot of fun potential. And yes, you can, of course, take it off from this stand and just run it like this. And for those of you who don't remember how the Airzone Rocket Storm works, you pull this out, load your rocket, drop it back in, and now if you smack that back part, you fire. You can also load your rocket, and then, while it's at an angle preferably, hold back the back piece, and it'll fire. And the ranges on that are about, testing it out a little bit more today, I think it was definitely getting over 25 feet with some of those angled shots. So again, not crazy, not practical necessarily, but a ton of fun. But we're never going to see something like this again, most likely. Airzone had some pretty cool blasters, but now there's a new mortar in town that was sent to me to review. You've probably, oh my gosh, you've probably seen this before. I can't get it to sit on my lap. And its official name, again, I wrote this down because I do not know how to remember that much. The 60mm caliber giant foam soft elastic transmitter for Nerf CS Battle Tactics Dark Green. If you're not familiar with the Mortar Dark Green, you get one of these priming mech things. You get the mortar itself, which these legs do not come off compared to the other one. This back piece does come off, in case you were wondering. And you get 3 of these very squishy foam mortars, which I've seen Wacom open one up before, so I know that they're not super advanced, but there is a spring inside of this that when you prime it in this, hello, echo, it's primed and ready to fire. So everything of interest is in here. This is just a hollow tube. Whereas the Airzone Rocket Storm, here's your spring. And there's nothing special about the foam rockets, which are gone forever. So, this one, you drop it in, and we have liftoff. And there's just a giant pin at the very bottom that when that hits it, releases the spring, launches it out. But that means you cannot fire this at an angle, really, because it needs to drop in. Unless you throw it in there like that, which I was not expecting. But you can't, if you turn this upside down and you try and have it loaded, it's going to fall out. Physics. But that one will lock into place unless you release this top part. This one was sent to me for free. Thank you very much, Lytake or NFStrike. I will clarify here. But it was sent to me for free, and in looking online around this time, I think they're running for just under $40, which is not super cheap for, a mortar launcher that is kind of specialized. So which of these 2 would I recommend for you to buy if you had the choice? Well, that's a hard question because obviously I have some attachment to the Airzone Rocket Storm, but you can't really buy them anymore. This one is a lot of fun, but you got less mortar rockets with it. This one you get 3. This one you can actually have loaded, ready to fire. This one you can't. So this one I think you'd actually be able to run with in a game because you could have it on you and pull it out and fire it. I know because like in 2012, that's something I did. And this one, not so much. We have tinkered around with the idea of how to make that possible if you run, but if you're running around and you try and drop one of these in, it needs to go all the way down and travel to the back of this tube in order to engage and fire. And I know it hurts for me to say this is an impractical blaster and shouldn't be used in a game because it's just hard to do. That's what I do, right? So let's just see. Let's compare these on the field, just shooting him across, and get a sense for which one might actually be more fun to play with. Because both of these are not super practical, but which one is more fun? So this is John.
Hi.
Sometimes he wears a beret, but not very often. Hence, he's not wearing a beret. He's going to be firing at me with both of these rocket launchers, mortars, darn it. But he's been playing around with both of them for a little bit, so he knows about how far they'll go and how to best hit me. So, anything of interest with these?
Well, another thing that Beret didn't say is that you can have all of these primed and ready to go and then just drop them into the mortar.
That is convenient. Whereas the other one at a time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, safety first. Aha! Oh my gosh. So he said this one is not as reliable as the Rocket Storm as you first saw there. How do you feel about the stand on that mortar as well? It moves a lot more? Oh.
That one goes a little bit farther.
And that one's currently at a bit of a higher angle too, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh gosh. I live!
So, conclusion, neither of these are accurate, so I honestly would recommend an Alpha Trooper.
So we just got done shooting these around for a little bit, and John, what are your thoughts?
That the Rocket Storm or whatever it is, the Air Zone one, is definitely better for war because you can take off the stand as Bret has shown, which makes it easier to be moved around.
Yeah, you can actually carry that on you if you really wanted to.
You could have it as a shoulder mount.
Yes.
You could have it as many things.
It's a shame that we just don't have more of these rockets, but they are durable. And what I think we've found from testing these around a little bit is that these are just not as durable. Like already I can pull the foam back on this one, and now you can actually see the spring in the
You can pull the
plastic
foam back
tube.
on all of them.
Yeah.
I don't honestly think the foam is connected to the end.
If it was, it is no longer.
Actually, I think it was.
Okay. The foam is not very high in quality, but in a sense that might be good in some cases because this might be more fun to play around inside. And that foam is very comparable to the 1969 Nerf ball, the original Nerf ball. It does it all. But what it does not do is hurt people too much. I'm not dead. So these might be a lot safer to shoot around the house. I still would be a little cautious with them just because they have some mass, right?
Yeah, they have some mass with a plastic inner, making it so that they actually fly. If they were just foam, they would just
Right.
pop.
But everything is coated with foam, right? Like every surface on this is
Yes.
pretty safe. So I will say that can be a plus.
But this has plastic on the bottom.
These ones gonna get you.
And this one is harder foam. This is also hard foam. This is more or less foam that's kind of like this, but it's more squishy.
Yeah.
But this is more squishy.
Yeah, these are definitely higher in mass and very dense foam.
If you
You'll
were
feel
going to go in a war with one of these, I would do this one, the air zone one. That way you can actually hit people and have it preloaded.
Because how hard was it to fire that even just sitting still?
Just sitting still, it's pretty hard.
And you were trying to fire it pretty fast, right? But
yeah,
it shouldn't be that unreliable.
It's not something made to be fired fast. It's something meant to be, do this, drop it in. If it fails, you have to do it again.
Yeah, so if the angle isn't steep enough, readjust. But then, yeah, if the angle's not steep enough, having to readjust means you might not even be aiming where you were hoping to aim in the first place. I can't see this as a replacement, in my opinion. The mortars that exist out there for the foam blasting community. Oh, yeah, I'm not dead. I can't see this as a replacement for this, which is a shame, but we have a lot of other rocket launchers of sorts that I guess you could make your own mortar dreams in that way.
Like out of a Caliburn.
Like out of a Caliburn. What? God, Caliburn. Oh no.
Or out of an FDL.
Alright, now we're just being silly.
Yeah.
I think it's time to end. Thank you everyone for watching. This is Brett.
And John.
This is John. Thanks for shooting me. We'll see you later, hopefully with something interesting with these.
Like a new game mode.
Like a new game mode.